Hi readers, me here, and now we come to Witchy Season Part 4, in which I talk about witchy books that are in the genre of fantasy, although some of these may cross over into horror. So again, I went through all my downstairs TBR and found a ton more than this, but I narrowed it down to what I wanted to talk about and see if I will be reading one of these in Witchy Month. First up is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This was a monthly pick one month, I don't remember, at Barnes & Noble, and it was buy one, get one 50. So I have not read any of Juno's fiction, but let's see what this is about. At the dawn of their adolescence, on the eve of summer solstice, 4 young girls, Helena, Leonie, Niamh, and Elle, took the oath to join Her Majesty's Royal Coven, established by Queen Elizabeth I as a covert government department. That sounds exciting. Now, decades later, the witch community is still reeling from a civil war, and Helena is the reigning high priestess of the organization. Yet Helena is the only one of her friend group still enmeshed in the stale bureaucracy of HMRC. Elle is trying to pretend she's a normal housewife, and Niamh has become a country vet, using her powers to heal sick animals. In what Helena perceives as the deepest betrayal, Leonie has defected to start her own more inclusive and intersectional coven, Diaspora. And now Helena has a bigger problem. A young warlock of extraordinary capabilities has been captured by authorities and seems to threaten the very existence of HMRC. With conflicting beliefs over the best course of action, the 4 friends must decide where their loyalties lie, with preserving tradition or doing what is right. Anywho, had this for a minute, not sure when I'm going to read it, because there's so many witchy books out there. Sorry, got distracted. Next up is a book I picked up. It is a Newbery Medal Award winner. It is called The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and this has got a beautiful cover. Love it. In this, every year, the people of the Protectorate leave a baby as an offering to the witch who lives in the forest to keep her from terrorizing their town. But the witch, Zan, is really kind and gentle. She shares her home with a wise swamp monster and a perfectly tiny dragon. Zan rescues the children and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest. One year, Zan accidentally feeds a baby moonlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. Zan decides she must raise this girl, whom she calls Luna, as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with unpredictable consequences, just when it's time for Zan to go collect another child. Meanwhile, a young man is determined to free his people by killing the witch, and a volcano, dormant for centuries, rumbles within the earth. This sounds fascinating. This is, I believe, like a middle grade book, but it sounds fascinating. And when I looked these up earlier on Goodreads, this one had the highest rating. I'm just going up there to read real soon. Another fascinating sounding book is Threadneedle by Cari Thomas. I pick up a lot of these buy one, give 150s because I can't help myself. And it ends up being worth it. In Threadneedle, Anna's aunt has always warned her of the dangers of magic and its deadly consequences. She counts down the days to the ceremony that will bind her magic forever. That is, until she meets Effie and Addis. They open her eyes to a London she never knew existed, one filled with magical shops, a secret library where the librarian feeds off words, and clubs where revelers lose themselves in a haze of spells. But as Anna is swept deeper into this world, she begins to wonder if her aunt was right all along. Is her magic a gift or a curse? That one also sounded good when I was looking it up. Everything but The Girl Who Drank the Moon got under 4 but above 3.5. So That's pretty good. This one got a great... So many good books, so little time to read. If only I'd win the lottery, which I don't play, and then I could have a lot of time to read. I could take trips where I took like 5 books, a book a day, take a trip for a week, come home. Fabulous. Anywho, that's not likely to happen since I don't play. Next up, The Bone Witch. With this one might kind of move over into horror. Not sure. It's by Chupeco. Not sure how to pronounce that. In this, it's spelled T-E-A, so I'm sure it's not T, but it's maybe Tea, is different from the other witches in her family. Her gift for necromancy makes her a bone witch, who are feared and ostracized in the kingdom. For theirs is a powerful elemental magic that can reach beyond the boundaries of the living and the human. Great power comes at a price, forcing Tea to leave her homeland to train under the guidance of an older, wiser bone witch. There, she puts all her energy into becoming an Asha, learning to control her elemental magic and those beasts who will submit by no other force. And Tea must be strong, stronger than she ever even believes possible, because war is brewing in the 8 kingdoms, war that will threaten the sovereignty of her homeland and threaten the very survival of those she loves. I do love fantasy, and I am looking forward to this. It seems like it's got a great premise. Next up, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of folklore. After the Forest by Kell Woods. And I love this cover. It would have sold it for me even if the story didn't. So, 20 years after the witch in the gingerbread house, Greta and Hans are struggling to get by. Their mother and stepmother are long dead. Hans is deeply in debt from gambling, and the countryside lies in ruin, its people starving in the aftermath of a brutal war. Greta has a secret, though, the witch's grimoire, hidden away and whispering in Greta's ear for the past 2 decades. And the recipe inside that makes the best gingerbread you've ever tasted. As long as she can bake, Greta can keep her small family afloat. But in a village full of superstition, Greta and her mysteriously addictive gingerbread, not to mention the rumors about her childhood misadventures, are a source of gossip and suspicion. And now, dark magic is returning to the woods, and Greta's magic she's still trying to understand, may be the only thing that can save her, if it doesn't kill her first. Love this. Fairy tale. That was the word instead of folklore that I was looking for. So part fantasy, part fairy tale. And speaking of fairy tale, Rapunzel. This is the book of Gothel by McMyne. This one starts out, everyone knows the story of Rapunzel in her tower, but do you know the story of the witch who put her there? Mary McMyne's spellbinding debut novel reveals the truth behind the fairy tale, the truth they never wanted you to know, as only a witch might tell it. So, this one, I'm not going to read any more about that. I did not get when I read it that this was about the witch. When I read down in this part, it doesn't reveal it's about the witch. You have to read that top part. And excited to read this, even though I've had it in my TBR for a while. So, I don't have any other categories of witch books. We've gone through horror, romance, fantasy, and historical fiction. But I will continue reading witchy books and tell you about them for the remainder of the month or until I burn out. That's all for me. Happy reading!